As I said to you in the beginning, I had my doubts because it was on and off. And I used to even say to Jesus, what's the point of me writing all these pages? Who will read them? And if anyone wants to read, maybe they won't believe and I will be ridiculed, and they will just cut them into pieces and throw them in my face like confetti. So I was afraid of being ridiculed, because in nowadays, you go out there and say, God is speaking to me, they'll close you up in a mental house. That's the reaction. And I would have reacted again the same way. I mean, who is this one to tell me that God is speaking to him? He's a lunatic. So, you know, all these things worried me. And I used to say to the Lord, but these things will finish up in a drawer collecting dust. And he said, no, I have blessed this work. And every nation will hear of this noble, he called it noble theme. Every nation will hear of it. And I just could not imagine how. Here I was, in a third world country, taking this dictation. I stopped my tennis because it was absorbed with dictation, the hours. I saw less of my friends because I was under the dictation. And these 3 years passed on that way, until the day came exactly 3 years after, and that I would say that he commanded me, God commanded me not to go around and say, look what I have, messages to anybody. But he said, I will bring the people to you, to your doorstep, so you don't move. So I will bring them to you, and when they invite you, know that they come from me, these people, inspired by him. And that's exactly what happened. We moved from Bangladesh to Switzerland because of the job of my husband. And suddenly, from a little lady who knew me, she found out that I had these messages. And this little lady said, can I bring my friends? And I said, yes. To hear you as well. And I thought she'd bring like 2-3 friends. She brought 30 people in my house. And I couldn't even make them sit. There were not enough chairs. So I spoke, I witnessed, and that was in the very beginning. It was just like over 3 years. And immediately one of the ladies said, all right, we'll have to make it public. It's big. And she did. The first time, 300 people. And that was my first time in my life that I would speak matters concerning God. And I was very nervous. I did not ever do this in my life, and I never ever dreamed, not even in my wildest dream, that I would be speaking of God and what he's given us. So I was nervous, and I went to the church nearby, and I asked Jesus to help me. Because if I'm supposed to speak, I should not be nervous. And I said, please do something, otherwise I'll ridicule you, embarrass you, and I'll embarrass myself as well. And he did. It was instant. Not at that moment, but as soon as I walked into that hall, I felt so comfortable, so much peace, so sure of myself to what I would say, and I was thinking, not even if there's the greatest theologian there, I do not fear, because what I have learned from the mouth of God, and no one else. And people say, how do you know it's God? Well, look at it today, after 20 years. It has spread in 62 countries. It has been published in 40 books, 40 different languages. And it should be 3 things. Either it's from God, either it's from Satan, either it's from my mind. My mind was blank. I had nothing, no catechism. It is not Satan, because Satan would not make you pray. He would not teach you to pray. He would not give you the thirst to go to your church and live with the sacraments of the church. He wouldn't do that. He would divide himself then. So it's left with one thing, and that is from God.